Dear learners, welcome back to the course Organizational Design and Development. This session I am going to discuss about organizational development consultant and their roles, competencies, and what are the ethical practices they are following in an organization, friends. Who is called OD consultant? OD consultant is a professional who helps organization improve their effectiveness, performance, and overall health by facilitating planned change using behavioral science knowledge and systematic intervention. You have a question. Sir, can we call them as change agent? Yes, we can call them as change agent. See, ultimately, we are looking for our own performance and development at par with the competitions. In the sustainable business era, how we need to beat the competition and how we need to grow by day. These and all our own question. So OD consultant role is predominant in an organization, friends. OD consultant like a change agent, he may be internal or external. So more specifically, an OD consultant acts as a change agent who diagnoses organizational issues, design appropriate intervention. There are a lot of interventions. See, from hiring to firing, there are a lot of interventions out there. So, which intervention to be suitable for an organization, friends? And they are all supporting the implementation of strategies aimed at improving processes, structures, and culture. And day by day, what kind of practice is followed by human being at the workplace? They work closely with leadership and the employees to identify and problems such as low productivity, poor communication, resistance to change, or cultural misalignment, and then guide the organization toward sustainable solutions. See, the consultant is a professional who improves a company's effectiveness. They act as the agent of change management, right? Just like that, we cannot able to definitely launch the changes in an organization. So we need to analyze organizational health to enhance productivity, leadership, and employee engagement as well. So OD consultants apply principles of psychology to human resources, administration, management, sales, even marketing problems as well. See, activities may include policy planning, employee testing and selection, training and development, and organization development analysis as well. See, OD consultant can be internal, as I told you, no, maybe external. Why? Employees we may find within organization may be an expert or set of experts in different departments based on their own experience. They develop it themselves for uh, development of an organization. See, who is called external? Purely, they are all private consultant from various corner based on experience. They are all coming to the company and they are assessing the problem, giving fruitful solutions. See, regardless of their position, their core role involves data collection and analysis, feedback sharing, team facilitation, training, coaching, and ensuring that change initiatives are aligned with the organizational goals. Very importantly, they are not doing just to provide solution. They enable organization to develop their own capabilities to manage change effectively. See, there are a lot of key functional roles engaged in an organization, friends. What kind of roles they are all playing? So they are all acting as a change agent and diagnostic specialist, facilitator, and coach, strategic planner, capacity builder. There are multiple functions and role played in organization. Predominantly, I am showing few more points as roles and responsibilities, or we can call it as functions. See what they are doing as a change agents. They are all guiding organization through transformational changes. What kind of changes? Probably revamping, restructuring, or policy transformation, or even how to manage resistance, etc. These are all part and parcel of the change agent role, the part of OD consultant. And why they are all acting as a diagnostic specialist? They are all assessing the organizational effectiveness by conducting as many surveys through data and kind of observation, conducting so many interviews, and finally they are all arriving the results how to find the problem. After finding the problem, they are all providing the solution. Before that, they are all finding the root causes for the creation of more problems in an organization. Sometimes they are not able to find what are the problem, where they have more problem in a different area. See, pretty well, right from hiring to firing, there are different departments available, even with respect to training, with respect to performance appraisal, with respect to, kind of exit interview, whatever, right? See, there, lot of problems available. Suppose if you want to make some changes in an organization, where we have to do, and suppose if you find some problem, where is the root cause and why it has been happening, how long probably it is persisting, this and all, we are all completely dark. So in this situation, the OD consultants are coming and acting as a diagnostic specialist or change agent. Why we call them as facilitator or strategic planner? So they are all acting as a cushion between two parties. That is called the company and the clients. Or within the company, no, there are different departments out there. They need to map different department and organization, and they are all acting as a coach for the employer and employees as well. They are all having multiple problems. They don't know how to solve the problem themselves. So they are all giving kind of counseling to them and come out the lot of problems and all. And the strategic planner, see, they are all partnering with the senior management to align organizational structure and culture strategy with the long-term goals. They are all constructing so many strategies to give the solution for a unsolved problem sometimes. And what do you mean by capacity building? See, is the predominant role done by all the OD consultant and organization. See what kind of internal capabilities available within an organization, how they have to map in the set of rules and regulation and the set of available responsibilities and job and profile. So they have to match for the consecutive improvement. They are all mapping the capacity within organization, friends. And what kind of nature or key features of an individual, friends? See, they are all designing, restructuring, and cultural changes and development, and team development coaching, and strategy planning. So these all similar to roles and responsibilities or key functional areas of a change agent or OD consultant, friends. And very, very importantly, OD consultants are having these some ethical practices in an organization. So these things, I'm going to discuss now. See, what do you mean by ethics? Application of moral standard in the workplace. That is known as ethical practices. What is the primary role they are all possessing, they are doing? See, the ethics of OD consultants are foundational to maintaining credibility, trust, and effectiveness in change interventions, friends. See, OD consultants work closely with leadership, employees, and sensitive organizational data. Ethical discipline is not optional, it is a professional obligation, friends. Today, I am going to discuss the ethics of organizational development consultant, which is a critical aspects of effective and responsible change management in an organization, friends. See, OD consultants play a vital role as facilitators of change, working closely with the leadership and the employees, handling sensitive information and influencing key decision. Why? Because the data is really valuable asset of each and every organization and branch as well. So we need to play very, very carefully, friends. See, their unique position, ethical conduct becomes essential to ensure trust, credibility, and long term success of interventions. See, one of the foremost ethical responsibilities is maintaining confidentiality and data integrity. Right? See, OD consultant often collect honesty feedback from employees through interviews, surveys, and discussions, and their duty to ensure that this information is completely protected. It is only meant for research aspects. Definitely they never ever reveal the information to anywhere else. See, used only for its intent purpose. That is very important. Any misuse or selective representation of data can damage trust and goodwill and undermine the entire process of an organization, friends. See, equally important is informed consent and transparency, where participants must clearly understand why data is being collected. Why I'm always talking about data, data, data? Unless data, no person will come for the conclusion what is happening in an organization with respect to change, with respect to consistent performance or constant improvement of an organization. Why we are looking for changes? if you are making some changes, something will happen with respect to development or growth of an organization, friend. So that, definitely the OD consultant role is a predominant one, friends. See, as I told you, it is informed consent and transparency where participants must clearly understand why data is being collected, how it is to be used, and what outcomes are expected, ensuring voluntary and genuine participation without any coercion. See, without data, can we do some kind of analysis? No, because many of the employees are moving out without intimation, just like they are putting paper. Even though we are providing training, we are not able to get the productivity. These and all probably quite common problem faced by HR department or personal department. So that, what we are doing immediately, we can request them to come to the company and assess the problem, and finally we request them to give the solution, for which, they are all coming and doing as many information, as many things. But, while they are in the organization, they should do some kind of ethical practices, which I am dealing now. See, another important ethical principle is focusing on client welfare and avoiding exploitation. See, consultants should aim to build the organization internal capabilities rather than create dependency or extending projects unnecessarily for financial gain, merely for financial gain. That is very important. Sometimes you may be a consultant, or in future you may be OD consultant. These practices you need to follow without fail. See, these aligns, with the broader objective of empowerment and sustainable development, friends. See, competence of professional boundaries also play a very crucial and critical role here, as consultant must accept assignments only within their expertise and consecutively update their knowledge. You need to keep on update your knowledge and skills without any probably further delay, avoiding unrealistic promises or commitments, friends. In addition to that, maintaining objectivity and avoiding bias is very much essential, as consultants often deal with the multiple stakeholders who may have conflicting interest. See, we can deal many stakeholders, many clients, many companies. The companies globally, probably accredited companies also. So we can play very, very carefully, because they don't know how to solve the problem, so that we are all inviting us. So as we are all change agent or OD consultant, we have to be very, very, very honestly do the operations in an organization. So ethical practice always requires them to remain neutral, present findings honestly, and base recommendation on evidence rather than pressure, right? It should be pleasure or personal preferences. See, furthermore, managing conflicts of interest is necessary to maintain integrity. See, why I am insisting no? See, all the companies are not having same policy, or the policies are purely unique, right? See, some of the companies are purely cost cutting mechanism. Some of the companies always looking for elevation. See, consultant must disclose any personal or financial interest that could influence their decision and ensure transparency in their professional engagement, friends. See, we should respect for individual organizational culture is another very important ethical dimension. As OD interventions directly impact people, consultant must treat all individuals with dignity, respect diversity, and design intervention that are culturally sensitive and psychologically very safe. Understand? See, they also share responsibility for the outcomes of change initiative, ensuring that interventions don't cause unintended harm, that organizations receive adequate support for sustainable implementation, friends. See, the OD consultant role may differ from a company to company, may differ one problem to another problem, may differ one scale to another scale, right? The same methodology or strategy should not be followed from one company to another company. In the sense, IT to manufacturing to some other service organization, say for example, health or the, health science or the pharma or chemical industry, something like that. So we should not just like that follow the same principle or same strategy from one company to another company. That is important. See, finally, honesty in contracting and reporting is very much essential, including clear communication of scope, timeliness, and realistic outcomes without any misleading claims. So these are all the fundamentally, let me brief about the ethical practices of an OD consultant, friends. See, all the OD consultant, definitely they are all grooming themselves with the Pakka manner. That is called they know pretty well how to follow ethical things in an organization, friends. Okay, elaborately, let me step into the points. The first one, confidentiality and the data integrity. They need to maintain full confidentiality. That is important. Secrecy, right? Where they have to reveal, where they should not reveal. Because the company should have more trust on you, more belief on you. Who are you actually? You are all trained, very smart OD consultant or OD agent, whatever you like. See, confidentiality and data integrity form the backbone of trust in an organization. OD consulting process. See, consultants, are always often given access to highly sensitive information, including strategic plan or employee numbers, some kind of turnover or profit analysis, whatever numerical figure probably you need to probably access or the process. So consultant are often given access to highly sensitive information we should not reveal anywhere else, including employee opinion or internal conflicts. So employee participate in interviews and surveys with the expectation that their identities and responses never ever revealed. It should be completely protected. If this trust is broken, it is not only affects individual participation but also completely derail the entire OD intervention. See, the organization probably definitely they are all losing the confidence about yourself, and they are not even recommending you for some of the organization as OD consultant. An ethical consultant ensure that all the data collected is handled with the strict confidentiality. This includes anonymizing responses, using aggregated data in reports, and securing both digital and physical information, friends. See, access to data should be very limited only to authorized individuals and team, and clear protocols must be established before the data collection process starts. You should be always keep in your mind, friends. See, this goal is create a safe environment where employees feel comfortable sharing honesty feedback, friends. See, equally important, maintaining data integrity. See, consultant, must present findings truthfully without altering, omitting, or skipping. You should not overstate because the entire company should have more trust on you. That is very important. See, selectively highlighting information to suit management expectation. So you are all charging also from the company. See, company don't know where they have got a problem, so that they are all inviting you. So you should not overstate anything, right? Even when the results are unfavorable or uncomfortable, you should be communicated accurately, right? You can guide them, you can handhold them. Prevention is better than cure, pretty well, right? You should not please about all those things. Whatever you have done is right. No, please. See, ethical consulting acquires courage. It's very important to present reality as it is rather than stakeholders, right? Stakeholders, might prefer it to be. That is important. So, ethical consulting acquires courage to present reality as it is rather than as stakeholders might prefer it to be. All right, you should not act first of all. See, confidentiality and integrity are not just technical responsibilities but also moral commitments. And single breach can destroy your name, your credibility, and make future intervention ineffective. Can I understand? So, whatever the move, the move should have that much of maturity. Ethical consultant read data not just information but as a responsibility entrusted to the entire set of employees by the organization, friends. Right? So next component is informed consent and transparency. That is important. See, informed consent and transparency are very much essential to ensure ethical participation in OD interventions, friends. See, before engaging employees in survey, interviews, or assessment, consultant must clearly communicate the purpose and process and expected outcomes. So what are you telling, sir? We are not able to understand. See, as a OD consultant or a group of consultants, we are coming to the organization. We are here to take the data, take the survey from different employee groups and analyze with respect to various problems. Example, training efficacy. Example, performance appraisal. Example, talent acquisition. Example, skill mapping, upskilling, or even exit interview. So for which, if I want to give the solution for a particular problem, definitely I need data. So as an employee, as a group of employee, you should support with me. Understand? At the same time, data should be so confidential. So participants should know why your input is being sought and how it will be contribute to your organization improvement. That is important. The data, whatever you are given, not for me, it is for your own organization development. So as an organization employer, definitely they are, the briefing. Anyway, as a consultant head, it is my responsibility to brief you. See, transparency also means that participation should always be voluntary, right? Employees should never feel pressured or coerced into sharing their views. So they must be given the freedom to participate or withdraw at any stage without fear of negative consequences or very effective, right? Effects, sorry. This openness fosters trust and encourages genuine responses rather than guarded or biased feedback. See, another key aspects of transparency is avoiding hidden agenda. That is called consultant must be so honest about your role, methods, intention, etc. See, if an employee suspect your process is being used for definitely no, that is called ulterior motives, such as perform evaluation or disciplinary action. It will be reduce engagement and distort results. Okay, and clear communication also helps eliminate such doubts. So please be clear. You are always for organization, not collecting merely money. No, you should not do. In practice, I am telling my dear friends, transparency builds credibility and reduces resistance to change. When employees understand the process and feel respect, they are more likely to actively participate and support the intervention, friends. So informed consent is not just a procedural aspects or requirement, it is a foundation for meaningful organizational change. You look at from either views or both the views, from the view of employee on the view of employer and even from the view of the stakeholders. The third component, client welfare and non-exploitation. So client welfare is at the heart of ethical OD consulting. See, consultants always, are expected to act in the best interest of the organization and its members, ensuring that intervention contribute to long-term growth and development. This means prioritizing organizational well-being over personal or financial gain, as I told you briefly. One common ethical concern is risk of creating dependency. Whatever the company, whatever the firm, they are expecting certain do's and don'ts from the OD consultant. If consultant design intervention in a way that the organization becomes reliant on them for the consecutive support, if undermines the goal of self-sufficiency. Each and every move, you have to create much of confidence. Ethical consultants focus on building internal capabilities so that organization can sustain improvements independently, friend. That hope you need to give. See, another aspect is avoiding unnecessary extension of projects. Within time span, you need to complete the project. Correct? Don't drag. See, prolonging assignment for financial benefit is unethical and can waste organizational resources. Instead, consultants should recommend only those interventions that are truly needed and beneficial. So solutions should be practical, relevant, and aligned with the present organizational scenario and context. Ultimately, the goal of OD consulting is empowerment, not control. See, ethical consultant measure their success not by the duration of the engagement, but by the organization's ability to function effectively without dance. Some of the points I've given in this component. Next, we'll pass on to competence and professional boundaries. See, competence and professional boundaries are critical for ensuring effective and ethical consulting. See, OD consultant, always must accept assignments only within the area of expertise. So, taking on projects without adequate knowledge or experience can lead to poor diagnostics, ineffective intervention, and potential harm to the organization. Whatever the organization, we should not be harmful to the organization, friend. So, consecutive learning is also a key responsibility. The field of OD is always dynamic, should be dynamic, not, maybe should be dynamic with new tools, techniques, and frameworks emerging regularly. How it is possible by an OD consultant over a period of experience? Definitely, they got to know everything. So, ethical consultant invest in upgrading their skills to remain relevant and effective in their practice. So, maintaining professional boundaries also equally important, friends. One of the important points in the screen. See, consultant must avoid over involvement in organizational politics or forming relationship that could compromise their objective friends. They should maintain a balance between engagement and detachment to ensure unbiased decision making. Right? See, over promising results is another ethical risk. You should not. Consultant should set realistic expectations and avoid making exaggerated claims and outcomes. Overnight, we should not, I mean, elevate the company as big. So gradually we develop a lot. So ethical practice involves honesty about what can do, what cannot be achieved within a time frame. That is important. So next important component is objectivity and avoidance of bias. Bias probably inevitable one. How we need to manage. Objectivity is essential for maintaining credibility in OD consulting. Consultants often interact with multiple stakeholders, including top management, including middle managers and employees, such with their own perspectives, interest. That is important. There are different layer of employees available. Correct? Middle, top, entry level, whoever. So accordingly, we need to take the trust. So remaining neutral in such situation in both challenging and necessary, friend. See, bias can arise consciously or unconsciously, right? Influenced by personal belief, organizational pressure, or relationship. We should not have our own assumption. Understand? So ethical consultants must actively recognize and mitigate these bias to ensure fair and accurate analysis. Using multiple data sources and evidence-based approaches always helps in maintaining objectivity, friends. So presenting finding very much honestly, even when they are uncomfortable, is a key ethical responsibilities. What actually we found as a fact, we need to reveal. We should not overstate, doubly cautious. See, consultant may face pressure to align with management views, but ethical practice requires them present the truth based on data. Ultimately, objectivity always ensures that recommendations are credible and effective. When stakeholders perceive the consultant as fair enough and unbiased, they are more likely to accept and implement the suggested changes. See, whatever you are going to suggest or suggested, they are going to execute, and very important, they are more and more, they may refer yourself or many of the companies. Okay, and managing conflicts and interest. How we need to manage conflict and interest, particularly by the OD consultant. See, conflicts of interest always occur, when a consultant's personal or financial interest interface with their organizational and professional responsibilities. This can compromise decision making and reduce trust in the consulting process. Identifying and managing such a conflict is a critical ethical obligation. Say, for example, a consultant may recommend a particular solution or vendor from which they benefit personally. Such situation must be handled with a transparency, right? So, ethical consultant disclose any potential conflicts to the client and ensure that all the decisions are made objectively. See, in some of the cases, conflicts may arise when working with the multiple stakeholders who have competing interests. Who am I? Why should I bother about your words? I know pretty well. Sometimes these kind of clashes may be there. We need to manage. So the consultant must navigate this situation very carefully, ensuring fairness and avoiding favoritism. Maintaining clear boundaries and open communication is very much essential. Friends, if a conflict can't be managed very effectively, the consultant should consider withdrawing from the assignment. Why we need to address about the conflict? Conflict, I am not saying that between employee and employer, between you and X, you and Y, you and Z. So protecting professional integrity is more important than continuing an engagement under compromised conditions. Okay. Next component of ethical practices, important point, respect for individual and organizational culture. You should know how to respect people. You should know how to respect for individual organizational culture is a fundamental principle. OD intervention directly impact people. Hence, consultant must ensure that the action uphold dignity, uphold, fairness and inclusivity. Every individual, regardless of their role, deserves to be treated with respect. See, organizations operate within specific cultural context which influence behaviors, values, and decision-making styles. See, ethical consultant or OD consultant who are following ethical practices must be so sensitive to these cultural factors and avoid imposing external models that may not fit the organization environment. Be a Roman when you are in Rome. See, adaptation and customization are key to successful intervention. See, another important aspect is ensuring psychological safety. Correct? See, employees should feel comfortable expressing their opinion without fear, without bias. They should not even 1% afraid on you. Fear of judgment, right? Or retaliation. Consultant must create an environment where diverse perspectives are encouraged and valued always. If you are so honest, so transparent, they are giving so much of information. At the same time, you should not ask a question like a threatening voice. Humble, right? Okay, and this should be approachable. So, by respecting both individuals and culture of an organization, definitely you people consultant can foster trust, engagement, and collaboration. Again, three words are important for your own personal development in the competitive business era. Wherever you go, correct? Basically, you are HR consultant. Okay, so you need to build the trust, engagement, and collaboration. I am not telling you don't have, you are God, but more volume, how to develop. That is called the fostering trust, engagement, and collaboration by respecting individuals and culture. This is not only enhances the effectiveness of intervention, whatever you created and going to create, but also contributes to a positive organizational climate. Okay, and few more points which are under the category called ethical practice, the responsibility for change outcomes. See, whatever changes will be coming out, you are so having sole responsible, or just for facilitators, not just for facilitators. You are all sharing responsibility for the outcome of change, initiative, and kind of performance. See, what is a projected performance, expected performance? Align with that. What are the steps you have taken? Correct. So, there your role extends beyond designing intervention to ensuring that these interventions lead to meaningful and sustainable results. You need to get consent from the concerned employer or keep employees of an organization for next proceedings of the each and every sequence of steps. See, whenever you are going to other steps, you need to get consent and permission from the employer and employee as well, or key person. See, one key responsibility is monitoring unintended consequences. 24/7 you have to follow. Even well-designed interventions can have unexpected negative effects or positive effects, such as increased stress or resistance among the employees. Ethical consultants, must identify and address these issues proactively. In fact, temporarily the ownership have been shifted from employer to you. That is called the OD consultant. See, providing consistent follow-up support is also very essential. Change doesn't end with implementation, right? Quotation, you have to make it as change doesn't end with implementation. It requires continuous reinforcement and adjustment. See, consultant should guide organization through this face-to-face, end-to-end process. That is called the ensure long-term basis, long-term success. You can't say you are all struggling. You can say you are all hand-holding, you are all part and parcel of success of an organization. See, responsibility for outcomes means being accountable for the impact of one's work. Correct? Individuals work, group work, or organizational entire work. So you are all the part and parcel of an organization. You are having the pleasure to take part of the success of an organization, friend. So ethical consultant remain engaged until the organization is stable and capable of sustaining the change independently. Okay, so this is called the responsibility for change outcome. And honest, pretty well the word having the meaning called ocean meaning. Honesty in contracting and reporting. In contracting and reporting is very crucial for maintaining a professional credibility. I'll tell you. In the beginning, you are quoting something. Middle, sorry, sir, we are not able to do. That and all you need to predict and tell. You should not go for even 10% excess, 10% shortage. Should not. You should not create some kind of sorry figure to them. See, at the beginning of engagement, consultant should clearly define the scope, timeline, what kind of deliverable, projected deliverables, and charges. This ensures the both parties have a shared understanding and prevents misunderstanding later. See, transparency is always very important. The word having very powerful meaning. Transparency in reporting is equally important. Consultant must provide accurate, complete, and evidence-based report. Don't cook up. Don't mislead. Exaggerate results should be avoided. These things definitely damage trust and lead to very poor decision making. So they don't know something, so they are requesting us to be a part of organization. Then what is the ultimate benefit? Why we are all taking the additional responsibility? So ethical consultants also communicate kind of challenges and limitations openly. If there are delays or obstacles, they should be discussed proactively rather than hidden. So this openness strengthens the consultant client relationship. To whom you are contacting, to whom you are having the relations, that is important. See, honesty builds trust and sets a foundation for successful collaboration. It ensures that consulting process remains credible and aligned with ethical standards. As I told you, application of moral standard in the business here aligned with ethical standards and end-to-end activities in an organization by the OD consultant. Correct? The last and very important component is adherence to professional codes. This is the kind of ethics provide a structural framework for ethical decision making process of OD consulting firm or OD consultants. See, organization such as OD Network and Academy of Management have established more guidelines that emphasize integrity, accountability, and professionalism. So these codes, serve as a reference point and consultant when faced with ethical dilemmas or dilemmas. They help in maintaining consistency and ensuring that actions align with acceptable standards of practice. Following these frameworks and kind of models enhance the credibility of the consultant and the profession as a whole. Right? Moreover, whatever the ethical practices you are all following, it is creating, lifting your integrity, honesty, trust, and confidence. So, participation in professional communities also promotes consecutive learning and ethical awareness. See, consultants can share experiences, discuss challenges, and stay updated on best practices. This collective approach strengthens ethical standards across the field. Ultimately, what I am saying, adherence to professional codes reflects to commitment to responsible practice. It is not only applicable for OD consultant, applicable for each and every one of you. Even you are a learner, I am the faculty, I am a professor of human resource management, or I am a director, whoever. So we need to follow certain professional code of conduct or principles. See, it ensure that consultant not only achieve organizational goal, but also uphold the value that define ethical and sustainable development, friends. Okay. So let me share kind of example. Who are all global consulting firms or famous OD consultant in India? Yeah, McKinsey and BCG, Bain and Company, Deloitte, Accenture. You can Google it. See what they are doing. Their focus, organizational design, change management, leadership development, culture transformation, workforce analytics, and other expanded areas of human resource management or human resource development or strategic human resource management or human capital management, friends. So you are all very clear about the companies who are also familiar in OD consulting work and OD consultant. McKinsey and Company, Boston Consulting Groups, Bain and Company, Deloitte India, Accenture, PwC, EY India, KPMG, TV Rao, and Avatar Group. Hope the session is extremely well for you. So quickly know, let me recollect what are the things we have seen. See, we have seen something about OD consultant, their role, responsibilities, and ethical principles or ethical practices, confidentiality and data integrity, informed consent and transparency, client welfare, competence and professional boundaries, objective and avoidance of bias, managing conflicts and interest, respect for individual and organizational culture, responsibility for change outcome, honesty in contracting, reporting, adherence to professional codes. So these are all things we have seen. In conclusion, friends, ethics in OD consulting is about balancing organizational goals with human values. While technical expertise is very important, it is ethical integrity that ultimately determines the success and sustainability of change initiative, friends. An ethical consultant not only drives performance but also builds trust, fosters a positive culture, and contributes to long-term organizational effectiveness. So, ethics in OD consulting is about balancing organizational goals with the human values. Thank you very much for your wonderful listening.